We will now look at how to process a return for a customer order. First, click on My Customers. Then find the customer you need to process the return for and click on them. Then click the order that you need to process the return for. On the order details page, click Enter Returns. At the top here, it shows the return number. This will be shown on the returns report. It then shows each product which has been ordered, the quantity ordered, the quantity dispatched, and the quantity previously returned for this order. You then need to enter the quantity of items being returned. Now select the return reason. The three standard options are damaged, not required, and box damaged. Damaged and box damaged will not put the item back into stock when the return is processed. Not required will put the item back into stock so the product can be resold. You can click here on Description to enter more information as to why the item is being returned. Then, click Process if you want to process the return straight away, or click Save to add this to a queue of outstanding returns. To process an outstanding return, go back to the main Admin Center screen by clicking here and click Returns here. This screen will show any outstanding returns, with the oldest at the top and the newest at the bottom. It will show the channel the order was placed on, the customer name, the order number, the external ID, if applicable, the date the order was placed, and the date the return was requested. If you placed a note in the description field in the previous section, this will show here. You can add to this note here if needed. You can also click Go to Order to view the order details screen for this order if you need to check any details. This will open in a new tab. Now click Process Return. This will show the order number which is being returned, the product name and SKU, the notes which have been added to the order, and you can also add a note here as well. It then shows the amount of items being returned, and if applicable, the location the item needs to be returned to. The return reason can be changed here if necessary. This could be that the customer has stated the item is in good condition but has been damaged while being sent back to you, or that the customer said the item is faulty, but on receiving it back, it's actually in working order and can be resold. There are then three options to complete the return. Decline will end the process and will not book the item back into stock, even if not required is selected, and will not process any refunds or credits for the customer. Accept will create a credit note for the customer which can be applied to a replacement or future manual order. And accept and refund if you are refunding the customer and not sending a replacement. If the order was paid for via payment gateway in CCP, then the customer can be refunded directly from here. If the customer order is from an external channel, then the order is marked as refunded in CCP and you will need to refund the customer directly on the channel. For this order, I will click on Accept. It will now ask if you want to create a credit note. Click Yes. You can then decide if you want to credit any shipping charge applied to the order as well. This return has now been booked in. To order a replacement for the customer, follow the order from stock process to place another order for the same or similar item. As we're ordering the same item as previously, and a discount was applied to the previous order, the system will remember this and apply the same discount if you want. Now click Complete. But this time, when the screen appears to say, "Would you like to pay for this order now?" click No, as the customer has already paid and we need to apply the credit to the order instead. If the customer is a trade customer, this screen will not appear, but the next step in the process will still need to be applied. The order has now been placed, but the credit still needs to be applied to the order. To do this, click on View Accounts, here in the top right corner. This page shows the transaction and account history of the customer. Starting from the bottom, this is the invoice for the original order for the customer, and then the payment for that order. Then the credit which was created for the return, and finally the invoice for the new order for the replacement item. You can see here that the amount is outstanding, which is why the Pay Now button is shown. We don't want to mark the order as paid, as the customer has already paid for the item. Instead, click here on Allocate. At the top of this section is a non-allocated credit note. Click on this credit note to highlight it. At the bottom is an outstanding invoice for the same amount. Click Apply Full. And finally, click Confirm Allocations. This has now allocated the credit note to the new invoice, and the replacement order is now ready to be dispatched. This concludes this section. Please complete the task below before proceeding to the next course.